Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to E3 2021 kickoff with, of course, Breakfast with Boom from my channel, Double Barrel Gaming. I am your host, Mr. Boomstick XL, and my God, we have a great show planned. Not only do we have incredible topics, not only has there been a ton of things that happened in the last 24 hours, but we have a guest that not only gives it to you raw, but gives it to you in a way that you will always remember. Wilmy Hood, welcome back to Double Barrel Gaming. Thanks for joining us, Dan. How you doing?
Well, I'm still trying to wake up from Summerfest.
You literally stole what I was going to say.
My doctor, he had advised me on taking, sleeping meds because, with PTSD, sometimes I don't sleep very well. But sure. Thank you, Geoff Keighley, whatever your name is. Summerfest really helped that problem.
Look, we're actually going to get into the highs and the extreme lows of Geoff's show. Now, listen.
There's a lot of extreme lows. Yeah.
Listen. We're going to be honest on this show. What we're not going to do, is obviously pile on the rabbit. We have to speak the truth, folks. Listen, Joe. I want to go to you next, Mr. Bed, but you and I are big fans of Geoff for what he does for the industry. I think his presence and his enthusiasm, and more specifically his tenacity for the love of the industry, is necessary. Again, listen, folks, we all of us, everyone that's here, everyone that's on this panel has a platform that they prefer, that they wear on their sleeve. Geoff wears his, which of course is PlayStation. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But Joe, welcome to the program, brother. I'm glad to have you back. I cannot wait to hear your opinions on many of the topics.
Honestly, if I was if I was as successful as Geoff when it comes to his unabashed love of Kojima, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably be like, Miyazaki, let's be best friends.
Yes.
And I'll pay for this friendship. I don't care. That said, yeah, man, it was a show, all right. We'll get into the specifics, but I'm doing great. I don't have a lot of sleep in me. I've been playing this little indie game called Ratchet and Clank, or Rift Apart. So it's
I never heard of that company that built it. They are called, I think,
Insomniac or something.
I think actually it's Insomniac, and it's the complete opposite of Summer Game Fest. It's for people that can't sleep.
Yeah, man. So God, I've been playing a ton of that. So yeah.
Well, yeah, we're gonna open up the show with that because I've been playing it as well. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of a snafu with YouTube this morning and had to fix everything, so I didn't get a chance to play as much as I would have wanted. I got an hour in. I'm ultra impressed, but I'm going to give everyone my opinion momentarily. But we have to welcome in someone that has not been here in a couple of weeks because real life takes place and is more important than silly podcasts. But Dreadpool, welcome back to the program, brother. How the hell have you been?
I've been awesome. Recently. Before that, I wasn't. But yes, good morning, everyone. I'm back. It's great to be here. I am waking up from Summer Snooze Fest. No problems. Everything's good to go. Still excited. I went back and I still found more stuff that I was interested in that I didn't think I'd be interested in.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, again, again, we're going to get into exactly what we liked, what we didn't like, what needs to be better, expectations for E3 in general. I think Joe has been preaching this for actually quite some time. And after what we saw, he actually might be onto something. But of course, last and no way least, Crispy Bomb, first of all, brother, welcome back to the program, the best voice in the business. And of course, a good friend of this community. How are you, man? What you been up to?
Oh, not much. What is up, chat? We got the legendary Wilmy Hood in the house. It's going to be raw and unfiltered up in here. Get your coffee, get your soda pop like I think Wilmy's got. So let's do this.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy that you're here. We are awaiting BitCloud Gaming. Hopefully, we can get him into the panel. And if we can't, maybe I'll reach out to someone that may want to jump in and give their opinion. But listen, folks, let's open up the show with what we've been playing. And I think what we've been playing, at least what I've been playing, at least only for an hour, has been Ratchet and Clank. And I got to tell you, man, in the hour that I have of this game, I am not only ultra impressed, I am completely in love with the game. And you know what it did for me? Because I'm an old school cat, someone that really appreciates the platformer genre, someone that looks forward to it. It's why I continue to push the envelope of not yelling at Microsoft, but politely asking that they open up the chest and bring us a Banjo Kazooie. It's still one of my picks for E3. I'm probably wrong. And you know something? That's fine. I don't mind being wrong, but I definitely want a new Banjo Kazooie on the level of what I'm playing on PlayStation 5 exclusive Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This is Insomniac Games at their absolute finest. But what impressed me first, and I think really sets the controller aspect apart, is the DualSense, folks. Listen, as much as I enjoy and absolutely love my Elite controls, and I have 4 of them, right? It's not like I don't appreciate it. I love everything about the Xbox Series S and X controllers, but I think after playing another game that heavily uses the DualSense, I want to see Microsoft come out with their own version. Obviously, I don't want a copy. I don't want a DualSense to play on my Xbox. I want a new Xbox controller that takes advantage of what the DualSense does. And literally, from the moment you turn on the game, you automatically feel the controller come to life. I think that in itself is so impressive and needs to be put out in front. Besides what you're seeing on the screen, the controller feels alive in your hand. I honestly, I cannot stress how excited I am to continue playing this game. But before we get into the rest of the panel as opinion on it, let me just thank a couple of people in the chat that drop super chats very early and often. GG Moto drops a very generous $4 super sticker. Well, thank you for that, dude. Super appreciate you being here. But of course, I appreciate the generosity. And a big bomb comes in early from our good friend Sin Vendetta, who definitely fell over on himself when he watched Elden Ring, because obviously this is the master of these types of games, and he's always going to be disappointed of poor Boom because I suck at them, and I'm going to buy Elden Ring, but I'm probably going to be terrible at it. He drops an outstanding $20 super chat and says, "Look, I'm over the moon about Elden Ring. You see, I didn't even read it yet. Gameplay. Hold on a sec. I just shrunk it. Hold on a second. He says, I'm over the moon about the Elden Ring gameplay trailer being shown, but I'm so sad that I feel like I'm the only one that was freaking out over Salt and Sacrifice being finally announced. I'm beyond hyped for this game. No, you know what? I actually played the first one, wasn't too bad at it, and that was a really good trailer. And now it has co-op, so hello. I think that's going to be really cool for a lot of people. But Joe, I got to get to you, brother. First of all, you were up to 3 o'clock in the morning playing Ratchet and Clank, and for good reason, because it is just another masterpiece. And I understand there are going to be people in the chat that say, Boom, it's not my type of game, so I don't care. And I hear you if that's the case, but you got to take our opinion seriously. If again, my dad used to say when we were kids, son, you got to call a spade. Of course, he was a big card player, so I knew exactly what he meant. And he loves spade, he loves poker, he loves rummy, and he was a card dude. And when he would say that, well, I mean, you gotta call it out when you see it. And what they were able to pull off with this Ratchet and Clank is glorious. Yeah, please, Mr. Badbit, give us your opinion. Bad.
Dude, I love this game so far, man. It's exactly what my friend Brock was talking to me about when we were on the trophy room about it. It's super impressive. And yeah, this is exactly what we want to start seeing from some next gen tech, is some really good looking games that really do push the envelope. So it does
you
beg
can
the
see
question.
His fur blowing in the wind. I mean, wow.
Yeah, and the other thing too that I notice is like the one thing that I hear a lot from like animators is like wet, like how it displays like water on the fur. And I think they do a really good job on that. well, with Ratchet, the first level, it being rainy, and you kind of see his
Yes.
fur
Yeah.
clumps together.
It's crazy.
Whereas like, yeah. You don't like Rivets. It's like very like, yeah, like you see like each individual fur kind of going off in the wind type of thing. It's nuts. So yeah, Insomniac, you have to give them credit where credit's due, because they've launched technically 3 games in the span of 6 months. What a remaster with Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and then this game, and all of them being, you know, pretty impressive, and honestly, Ratchet being the most. Like, this is the showcase. This is what you show people. Now, you know, there are like hidden loading screens. You definitely see them, but they're oftentimes like a second. And so like it's kind of like a blink and you miss them type of thing. But I gotta say, like, I'm just like on my PlayStation 5 right now, I'm editing a clip, and just seeing all the bits and bolts when you're like breaking the armor of these robots, and just in mass, is incredibly impressive. And the one thing that I do want to give credit to as well, like, because you talked about the DualSense, and the DualSense is amazing, and I want that tech in the Xbox controller. I don't think anybody really, you know, like any Xbox fan wants a DualSense controller, right? They want still that what is probably the best controller ever made, but just have that tech inside it, because it is really nice. Like it does bring out a level of immersion that you don't think, you know, it's kind of like subconscious. But the one thing I really want to point out is the dialogue in this game is incredible. Like, it's really funny. Like, it reminds me sometimes of like SpongeBob, where SpongeBob is for kids, but they have humor for adults.
Yes.
So like,
yes.
Yeah, there's some adult humor in here, but like it's still like PG-13. And then like also like the comedy that's like outside of the main cast, like the dialogue that you're walking around the world in, is also really good. So I haven't had really, I don't have any faults with the game so far. Again, it's like I'm like 3-ish hours in, but the one thing I do want to note is I'm constantly, I guess the one bad thing is I'm constantly pressing the share button. You know, like,
yeah,
like
I found myself doing.
I'm like, boop.
Yeah, I found myself doing a lot of that in Miles Morales, and I think I haven't done it yet because I really wanted to get some playtime in, because I was again, that snafu this morning kind of threw me off my game. But yeah, this is, look, folks, I'm gonna say this. I understand that my audience is, you know, preferably Xbox, and as much as that is always going to be my platform of choice, I have to be honest that what we're seeing, what we have been gifted upon us, if you have a PlayStation 5, if you're lucky enough to have found one, and it is another incredible game that I think everyone should play. Now, I was very vocal about about the $70 price point. You know, I still feel a way about that, and I think a lot of people do. But if I were to say, based on what I'm playing, I can't argue that this is a game that I would not miss because of the $70 price point. And I think that, you know, this is just when you look at what Sony has done in the last, I don't know, 12, 24 months in regards to, you know, adding talent to the brand, no one has been the biggest, and out of all of the acquisitions than Insomniac. I think that was, I mean, they worked together for so many years. So it was almost inevitable. But if I were to say a WoW purchase, and just based on what, like Joe, you said, 3 games, an HD remaster of Spider-Man, 2018 Game of the Year, and then, of course, Miles Morales, whether you think it's a DLC or not, it's still an incredible piece of artwork, in my opinion. And of course, Ratchet and Clank is just another notch in the cap. Like, they just can't do anything wrong. I honestly hope that what we've heard in the secret source rooms, that Resistance Fall of Man is getting a reboot or remake or whatever it is, and they're gonna and that's going to be coming from them, plus whatever else they have underneath the hood, and obviously Spider-Man 2. It's a good time to be a fan of this developer. But let's Wilmy Hood, I want to bring you into the conversation. I don't necessarily know. I know you have 1,000 PlayStation 5s, because obviously you're rich.
No, I've got 2.
Okay, so is Ratchet and Clank up your alley? Did you get it? Are you going to get it? Are you interested?
Well, yeah, I've got it. I just hadn't had a chance to play it yet. I intend to play it sometime in the next few hours, actually, and
Nice.
it'll go right along with those pretty new Midnight Black controllers I just had come in.
Well, I mean, listen, it's what made this a day one purchase for you? I mean, are you a fan of platformers? Because obviously you're an old school cat like me, or was it? Were you sold on the the original 14-minute vertical slice of the gameplay?
Nah, the gameplay really didn't interest me. The trailers, I'd played the games previously. I've played just about all of them already because there's quite a few of them. So I knew I was going to buy it, and that's all there is to it.
All right. I mean, yeah, you know what? What we'll do is we'll obviously cannot wait to hear what you have to say after you play it for a bit. But let's bring in Dreadpool. Dreadpool, first of all, welcome back. It's great to have you back a part of the panel. We definitely missed you for sure. Do you have a PlayStation 5?
Still not yet, unfortunately.
Still not yet. Okay, so I mean, is this well? Let me get your opinion on what you saw on the 14-minute vertical slice a couple of months ago, and is this a day one? Like when you get your PlayStation 5 and finally get one, because it's like finding a lucky charm. It's ridiculous. Will this be one of the games you get first?
Yeah, it will. It's just it's become a classic. It's you know what I mean? It's part of PlayStation's blood now. So you kind of have to have this game. It's gonna, and I know everybody's gonna push out the tech. I still think it's possible on last gen consoles, but that's me. I'm also looking at it differently. But regardless of that, it looks like a fun game. It looks smooth. It looks great. I'm actually right now playing the one previous, and having a good time playing some catch up on PS4 games, and playing that and watching this, and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to do this.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, once you're able to acquire a PlayStation 5, and I don't know when that's going to be, because my God, it is just crazy to try and find one of these things. And obviously, I would not advise doing the scalper pricing, because these guys are just clobbering people.
They're ridiculous, man. I saw one, and this is no joke. I saw one listed on Amazon, $3,000, and they give you a Yeti drink cup. Like that Yeti drink cup makes up, for the people are stupid, dude. It blows my mind. People are trying to sell them for these kind of prices.
Well, hopefully no one falls for that. I mean, the PlayStation 5 is great. It's just not worth $3,000. I don't think any console is worth $3,000, because you can get a PC for that. But let's get Crispy Bomb. Crispy, obviously, there's a PlayStation 4 in the house. You can play the old Ratchet and Clank, which is still a masterpiece in itself. And, of course, it's part of PlayStation Plus, that collection. When you I mean, I know, obviously, you saw the trailers. You don't have a PlayStation 5 yet. But are you, when you get a PlayStation 5, if you get a PlayStation 5, would Ratchet and Clank be a game that you would buy, or you would felt you needed to buy day one?
3 years later. It's one of those things at this point. Like, I'm happy for the people that have a PlayStation 5, but I also know a lot of diehard Sony fans, not fanboys, diehard Sony fans that don't have a PlayStation 5, that are actually pretty upset right now that they can't play this game. I mean, this Ratchet and Clank is like if you went to Gears or Halo for PlayStation. I mean,
Yes.
they've been around. God, I remember playing it when I was like 12 years old. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. So, I'm a little sad for the people that can't play it because of the scarcity of these consoles. And by the way, like, I mean, the best deal I saw on one was $800.
Jeez, and that's a deal. Holy cow.
That's a deal. So, I mean, I am just blessed that I have a Series X, and I'm going to enjoy that and just hope that more and more first-party games come out. But I also have way too much to play myself just on Game Pass. And, I was thinking, because, my girlfriend's son at the time was really into PlayStation 4. He now has a PC, and that PlayStation 4 has not been touched. Yeah. So now we're at the point, is it logical to even think about getting one, even if it was at $500, or even, a little bit more than that? Because I kind of paid a little bit more for my Series X, but I got a couple games and everything else. So you know, I don't know if it's going to be logical. And you know, as of right now, the games that I would play, you know, besides Ratchet does have a place in my heart. And you know, I see what they've done. Like, it looks impressive. It definitely looks like they've innovated, and that's what you expect from a franchise been around as long as them. But at the same time, you know, to justify that and maybe one other game and spend another at the least $500, most likely, I don't see it right now. So maybe down the road, you know, as they become, you know, around and you can actually get one, but also maybe they drop the price a little bit, then I'll probably think about that.
All right. I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, obviously, only two people on the panel, me and Joe, had a chance to actually play it. And he's been playing it for about 3 hours. I only got about an hour into it. The minute this show is over, folks, PlayStation 5 going on, and I'm going to sit there and enjoy the hell out of myself. But before we move on to the next topic, next topic is one that not many people are talking about or had a chance to build a show around, and I am going to be one of the first. I am excited to talk about it. But Master Clowns X3, good and very generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $20 super chat, and he don't even say nothing. First of all, Master Clowns, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for the generosity, as always. Alex Cullian, who drops a very generous friend of the show, he drops a $5 super chat, and he says, "You don't have to read this out. Just jumped in, going back to the beginning. Just wanted to watch the show for some support." Well, dude, I definitely appreciate that, the generosity. And Eric the Red, and I knew what he was saying, so you didn't have to drop the other super chat. Eric, definitely appreciate you being here. He says, from an Xbox fan, you don't have to respect Sony fanboys, but you have to respect Sony and what they're constantly bringing to gamers. Ratchet and Clank is a great game, and obviously that was a $5 super chat. And the second one was, I meant you don't, and I got you right there, brother. Thank you so much for that. And big shout out to our friend, two really good friends of the show that helps the show, Dinero Primero. I mean, if you're a YouTuber, if you are someone looking for artwork, original artwork with style and class and precision, there's no one better. And of course, Kay Asante, who is going to be joining us on this Monday's megathon of a podcast. Folks, listen, if you don't already know, Double Barrel Gaming has you covered in more ways than you could possibly imagine. I'm going to flash this up on the screen once again and give you guys the lowdown. Coverage for E3 2021 goes as follows. We're starting this Sunday, and this is going to be 6 days, 6 live stream events, and they're all going to be 2+ hours. And we're starting this Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with the Xbox-Bethesda pre-show event. We're going to watch it live as a watch party, and then we're going to stay around afterwards to grade it, give our opinions, and gush or potentially cry at what was shown. Of course, primetime gaming. Now, this is a big show, folks. This is probably the biggest panel I have ever put together. Besides the regular crew, besides the announcement of Kay Asante joining the crew, besides that, we have an incredible panel of guests. And it starts with, of course, Tim Dog is going to be joining us. We also have Cognito, my brother from another, from the Iron Lords podcast. But we're also going to have Dealer Gaming jumping in to give his opinions on what happened Sunday afternoon. And I hope that you folks tune in. Of course, for all the Nintendo fans, and I'm one of them, we're going to be covering the Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, 11:30 a.m. And we're going to be watching that together and then giving our opinions afterwards. And then midweek, we're doing something different. It's going to be a part of the Double Barrel Gaming Presents E3 Update podcast. And we start that at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will be breaking down all of the big announcements that started yesterday all the way through current on Wednesday. Then, of course, Thursday's Xbox Factor podcast. We're going to be talking Xbox, of course. And then I'm finally going to catch a breath and potentially pass out from exhaustion on Breakfast with Boom Friday morning, June 18th. So if you are not a subscriber to Double Barrel Gaming, folks, you might want to subscribe now, because I'm going to have you covered with the coverage. But Joe, we got to move on to topic number 2, and I think that topic number 2 is a big one, and it's one that no one is really talking about. You know, yesterday behind the scenes, Joe showed his knowledge, and he broke down dictatorships and all kinds of conspiracy theories of what happens when people get too powerful, and it was great. It just wasn't great for podcasting, Joe. But we have to talk about what was announced yesterday in the Xbox TV app and their own xCloud streaming stick / controller bundle that is coming. And I think that, quietly and very politely, Microsoft just might have taken over the entertainment world. And when you consider how you can digest your Xbox content, it has really been the window. Normally you'll say, well, they open up the window and I now can see into the future. That's not what Microsoft did yesterday. They broke the wall and now you can see everything. And obviously the standard way to play your Xbox, of course, is on your TV, but we know that you can play on your computer. We know you can play on your phone. You can play on your tablet. Hell, you can probably play on a fridge that supports Wi-Fi. And with the announcement of, and again, it was a short video, but why I thought it was important, it was a short video, not only from Phil Spencer, because we see Phil a lot. He was there with Satya Nadella, and his, I guess, stamp of approval on how Microsoft considers gaming an integral part of Microsoft really drew the line in the sand for me on how you're going to be able to play. And again, you talk about subscription services and you talk about console sales and you talk about first party games and who has the better controller. But at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to how many people are digesting your content on a daily basis. And the normies are who Microsoft really wants to grab their ears and eyes. See, they got us already. Everyone on this panel, the near 300 people that are here, we are all in neck deep. But it's the normies that they want to get. And I think that this announcement, and again, they didn't specifically say it, but they certainly, Phil himself hinted towards this, Xbox Y, if you will, whatever you want to call it. They are trying to do something that has been tried by other companies and has failed. And because the infrastructure for Microsoft is already, the groundwork is here, the bones are here, they now have to build on it. And they started with the consoles, they have the controllers, they have xCloud, they have Xbox Game Pass, they have the services. Now they just need the people. And I got to tell you, folks, if what they are looking to do comes to fruition, this is going to be a very interesting conversation that continues and through many, many podcasts. Joe, I got to go to you first on this. Microsoft, if they release it, when we, as consumers, Joe, right? Because you have marketing managing underneath your cap, so you understand where I'm going with this. Most people find those types of purchases, anything under $100 that offers a significant amount of value in electronics, it's one of those you just buy and you don't think about it. I don't know the actual terminology for it, but it's one of those quick buys. And if they could release
impulse purchase.
Impulse, thank you. You see, this is why I have you on the show, brother. You got to help out the old man. The impulse buy. If they release a $79, $89, or even a $99 package where you get a wireless controller and you get the streaming stick, any device becomes an Xbox. It's going to be incredibly important for the brand. How big of a deal do you think this really is?
So it's a big deal in not any way that we really think it is. So the one thing about the Xbox proposal, it's something that I've been preaching for a few months now, is like, this is what Xbox wants. When we argue about teraflips, teraskips, none of it matters. They don't care. And I got a lot of hate from folks who are just like, when I say, I go, they don't really care about selling you the box. And they're like, what do you mean, Joe? It's the teraflips, and it got 12 of them. It's like, shut up. This is their goal. This is what they wanted. And it is Game Pass. That is the thing. And how do you get Game Pass to more people? And this is how you do it. So what Microsoft really wanted to spell out for the future of Xbox is, it doesn't matter if you have the $500, $400, $300, $200, $100 $6 thing. It doesn't even matter if all you have is your phone. We want you in this ecosystem. And so what that allows you to do, if you are Microsoft, it's not about the impulse buy. I mean, you're going to probably get maybe like, let's just say, in a perfect world, I'm thinking of a Fire Stick. You probably get maybe my friend who isn't like a gamer. You probably get her who's into the not even casual stuff. Just she's not it, but you give her a very cheap solution. And you're going to probably get people like them that are maybe just morbidly curious in the door. But I think the bigger deal with the sticks and the other like cheaper hardware that they're kind of teasing as well is in markets that are not as affluent as we are, man. Like, this is for people like us who usually have maybe one or two consoles. Now you don't have to go out there and buy a Series S for your second room if you don't want to. Now you could just go out there, buy like a stick that's under $100, and you have a something there. You have it for places like, and I'm thinking of cheaper hardware here, not so much a stick, but places like China, where PCs are super prevalent. That's where you push Game Pass. That's why Game Pass on PC is so important to them. You push that tech as well in lower income areas, and at the same exact time, like India, China, not Pakistan, sorry, Iran, like all the Russia as well, all those growing markets, same markets that PlayStation wants to hit. You got yourself an edge there in terms of getting your service out to people. So yeah, that's what this streaming stick's really doing, is that billion number. That's what they think and how they think they could really hit.
Yes,
that is they're really going to the people that say, you know what, I want no barrier to entry when it comes to games. So I'll give me Halo on a phone, but don't give me Halo on a phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Give you that true Halo experience. So that's what they're really going here. It's what they announced yesterday. Right now, very short term, isn't for us. Like, we want the Series X.
I'm not going to buy the stick.
S.
What do I need it for?
Yeah,
I
might just to put it in my living room, and that's the thing. It's like this is very much for super casual folks and trying to get them into it, or for kids as well. So you have a very low risk entry for parents. So this thing is big, man. This is something I've been preaching, and hopefully we can start breaking down these barriers of this is something that Microsoft, again, doesn't care if you buy a Series S or X. They really, really care if you buy Game Pass.
Yes.
They really want that to be their future. That is their platform. That's why you will see when we see the Xbox event, why 80% of those games are going to be on Game Pass day and date. So, yeah, for me, it's a really cool thing that Xbox is doing. And the number one thing that I wanted to kind of elaborate on further is just Satya, man, he's a very low key exec. Yeah. I at least from what I never hear him. It's not like Tim Cook is like putting on put on your goggles, everybody. You're gonna see me in the Apple Garden. You know what I mean? Like, Satya is there when you need him. And it's really cool to see that Xbox has really grown from what is essentially the company in the basement of Microsoft to now being something not their breadwinner, but it is a business that they are taking really serious because they know that it could be really, really huge. So it's really awesome to see that, man. That's really cool that you have finally a CEO that's on board with what you got. Also, did you guys see the leaked Halo TV things? If it's real,
dude, it popped up. I did not get a chance to. It literally, as you were talking, I just got a notification.
If it's real, God exists. God's good. She's beautiful, and she's given us so much. She's given us so much. You look at the helmet, and you're like, "Oh my God!"
I'm actually gonna while other people are speaking, I may make that like one of those drop topics, because I don't think we could walk away with not talking about if what I'm reading is correct and what you saw is correct. Holy shit, we're in for a great time. Real quick before I get to Wilmy Hood on this, we have to thank Dovkin89 for not one but $2 super chats. He says this, the first one, wow, the big guns under the same roof. Yeah, indeed. Everyone here is a superstar, and I appreciate them taking the time to hang out. And the second $2 super chat comes in. Satya is all in with fire, and I believe, yeah, that's crazy. It's again with exactly what Joe said. It is refreshing, and it is very exciting to know that he has Phil's back. And Phil, I don't want to say he has a blank checkbook. He has to check in with him, and of course, Amy Cook, which is the CFO of the company. So they're always gonna have the final say. But Phil doesn't make bad decisions when it comes to, hey, listen, we got to add X, Y, and Z to our studios because we want to make Game Pass better. So, Wilmy, let's get your opinion on this. For me, is a power move, but it's done with finesse, and it's so subtle. Obviously, gamers are just not Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo owners. Gamers is a very loose definition of who is considered to be. I think it's more so than gamers; it's customers. And something that Microsoft is looking to do is get their claws into the 3 billion gamers that are across the globe. And when you see moves like this tells me, and when you hear Phil talk about the importance of Korea, when you hear Phil talk about the importance of Japan and other places that Joe were mentioning, these are not your traditional, or they were traditional console gamers. They're not like that anymore. They're playing in cafes, they're playing on the trains, they're playing on their phones, they're playing on their tablets. And this is what this type of device, or even xCloud, opens up. If you don't want to buy the console, we hear you. $79.99 gets you the stick. You plug it in, you get a wireless controller. Go crazy. You're an Xbox gamer. Welcome to the family. How big of a deal is this, do you think? Because you're a businessman, you obviously you understand the inner workings of product and product placement. How big of a deal is this?
It's huge, because everybody on social media that's part of the so-called gaming community, and everybody on podcasts and everywhere, we're just we're not even a grain of sand compared to the gamer, all the other gamers. Mobile gamers, some of us may not admit it, they're actually gamers. That's who they're trying to target. They want all these, you can call them casuals, you can call them what you want. That's who they're going to target, and that's who they're going to get. If you're hardcore, you've got all the consoles, you've got PCs, but they want the people and this, I think this actually, it'll be a competitor to the Switch in some ways at some point. Not quite yet, but they will get it there eventually, because a lot of people, that's one of the reasons the Switch sells so well, because it's completely portable. You can take your Switch off the dock and you can just go crazy with it. You can play anywhere. And what Microsoft's going to do, they're going to allow you to do that from anywhere, but you'll actually have online functionality. Something let's be honest, you really don't get that with Nintendo, period.
Yeah, true.
Their newest, and I was joking about it, a couple of nights ago on a podcast. The funny thing is, when Nintendo releases, a new type of chat or a party chat device, it'll be carrier pigeons that you have to buy separately from them. Because technically Nintendo they're still living in 1987 in some ways.
Yeah.
So Microsoft is kind of, they're trying to bring back, they're going to take what Switch is doing and upgrade it to their standards in some ways. And it's smart. Think about Microsoft in general. There's not many computers in the world that doesn't run Windows. Who owns Windows? Microsoft. Who created it? Microsoft. And they're going to do the same thing with these sticks. And like you said, you don't have to have an expensive, console. You won't have to have anything expensive. You can run it on tablets. Hell, a lot of times Dealer Gaming loves to pick on me. A lot of times if I'm on RDX, I'm sitting on my tablet playing, playing an Xbox game, but I mean, that's going to be the future of it. And it does suck in some ways, but as long as you've got the console, you should be good. But it's going to make it to where you don't have to have the console. You don't have to have, dedicated hardware. I mean, it's super smart. And Phil said it, what was it, like a year, 2 years ago, that they wanted billions of gamers. Billions.
Yes.
And that gives them the potential.
Yeah.
That gives them the potential to reach anybody with a cell phone. And who doesn't have a mobile phone anymore? You go into any convenience store or grocery store, you see 5-year-old kids walking around with iPhone 12s for some odd reason. That's who they're going to target.
The reason it's bad parents.
I completely agree, dude. Luckily, my kids are adults, and my grandson, he turns 1 year old this month. He's not getting a cell phone anytime soon. So, but that's who they're going to target, and that's who is going to be their new audience. And as long as they keep dropping content, they shouldn't have any issue, and they will. I mean, they'll succeed. I mean, Stadia. You're talking about impulse buys. I bought Stadia, and I bought two of them, so that made me doubly stupid. I bought two of them. I bought one for myself and one for the wife, and we both played them like 2 hours each, and they were disconnected and thrown in a box in my attic. So, and Microsoft, I think they've learned from Stadia.
Hey, I think I resemble that remark too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely one of the Stadia players. Real quick, anything else you'd like to add to it, Wilmy? Because I keep talking about impulse buys. You just said it. Do you think that if they release this quote unquote Xbox stick, it's going to be called the Xbox something, right? And in essence, and I was talking to Everborn Saga this morning because we talk outside of the show. He's saying that it's still going to be considered a console sale, right?
Right.
If they sell that, what do you consider to be an impulse buy, and what do you predict that this could possibly be? Do you think that they go $99? Do you think they go $89? Do you think they go as low as $79? Because a wireless controller, depending on where you buy it, is about $60, $70, and this stick is going to be it's going to cost nothing to make. These sticks are nothing.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to wind up being, and what would be the impulse buy for you to drop money on this?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask, but
that's true. You know what? I
mean, I was at a dealership and paid $70,000 for a Jeep Rubicon just because I like the rims on it.
Jesus Christ!
But the thing is, there's a lot of people that do impulse buy. Why do you think at every store you go to, there's always something on the aisle next to the cash registers?
Yes.
That is for impulse buying. That is to target your children or just curious adults that are bored waiting on the cash register. I think there'll be package bundles. They'll come with different types of controllers. And I mean, if you buy the stick alone, which even if they market it alone, which they may, I'd say it'd be less than $100 without a controller. Or maybe they'll do it with the controller for $100, an introductory price.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be a super cheap way to get them into the ecosystem. And like somebody just said in the chat, the Series X will be the best place to play. Oh yeah, definitely. But if you're a casual gamer and you're not wanting that native 4K, I mean, they're not going to care. So I think it'll sell like gangbusters.
Yeah, I agree there with you. Crispy Bomb, let's get your opinion on this. Obviously this is, again, I consider this to be a very subtle power move. This is something that that Phil Spencer has talked about. This is something that we now know that Satya Nadella, who is the head of Xbox, is full on in. And I think this is a monster level situation that happened. And again, no one is really talking about it because the gaming community doesn't consider the normies to be important, and I'm telling you that they are. What are your thoughts? What is the overall impact on this streaming stick / controller combo that could be releasing as soon as this holiday?
This is a big one. I think a lot of us have kind of hinted at this over a few years now. you know, the way they're treating the cloud, especially on the gaming end, is that I feel like they eventually want you to be able to play in nearly 4K because they're upgrading to the Series X server blades. So at some point they're going to finish that, and then they're going to probably start implementing better visuals and stuff like that. I feel like the cloud service, I mean, it will eventually get out of beta, but at the same time, it's always going to be like upgrading itself. And, you know, after seeing Satya, you know, there at the forefront, even wearing the Halo Infinite sweatshirt, which was, I was like, oh, okay, all right. First I ever seen him wearing any gaming merch, so pretty cool. You know, he seemed enthusiastic.
Let's be real. Let's be real. It's probably the first time he wore some gaming merch.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
It looks like the shelf changed too a little bit, but he had a few things there. I'm like, oh, that's okay, all right. But
it's like, why do we need a Series S and X right next to each other, pal? We get it. We get it.
You know, now we got everybody, all the execs got shelves for Microsoft. Now we're all going to be looking at the shelves. But you know, it's one of those things, and this really goes back to what Bill Gates really wanted at the beginning, to really put Microsoft's platforms on to billions. And you know, now that you've really established that you're going all in on gaming, and you know, we all finally realized that they were all in before they started really talking about it, is when ZeniMax was purchased. I mean, we were all like, okay, they're not messing around no more. And I think this is just kind of like one of those things where they're going to use this as saying, you know, we want to get gaming into as many hands as possible. Like, I have a TV in my bedroom that does not have, it doesn't have the app interface that would allow me. They would never update it to have Xbox, I'm sure of it. But now you bring a streaming stick in there, I'm a day one purchaser. You know, especially if it's only, I would think wouldn't be more than 100 to 150. You know what I mean? And it would come with a controller at that price point. You know, the whole point is to get as many gamers as possible. And I think at this point, that's the easiest way to do it. It's really like, it's one of those things like grandma could get little Timmy his Xbox and it's $100. Like, think about that.
Can I paint a scenario for you, Dreadpool? I said Dreadpool, Crispy, and then I want to get Dreadpool's opinion on this. What is going on currently with semiconductors? Right now, it is almost impossible to find an Xbox Series X, S, or PS5 on the shelf. It literally, if you were to walk in, it's not going to be there. It's not happening. Now, Microsoft doesn't go on things that happen. They're always planning ahead. And we talked about this even as back as last year, maybe even 18 months ago, about a streaming stick box. And everyone was like, nope, that's not happening. BS, BS, BS. Well, here it is, folks. What would be the scenario if you can't find an Xbox for $3 and $500 respectively, and of course a PlayStation 5 for $400 and $500 respectively? What if you could find in abundance this streaming stick service that they're looking to sell? It potentially would be that, you know, the New York Times top 10 toys for Christmas. They would make an absolute killing while at the same time getting millions of new Xbox Game Pass subscribers with this, with the streaming stick service. What are your thoughts on that impact and possibility?
I think it's probably gonna sell out immediately. But you know, the production that they would have is far more than any of the consoles. Not only that, and a lot of people don't forget this, you're having trouble even getting 1S's and 1X's. And there's a point in time where, you know, the Xbox One, the fat, is basically, that stick is probably going to be more powerful than it. You know what I mean? As far as using the cloud. So, I mean, at this point, like, consoles are so in demand that if you have this option, I think people are going to absolutely buy into it. And I think it's going to sell probably even more than they would even realize. You know, I'd say have 10 million on hand ready to be sold. That's how you launch it, and just so we can get into as many hands as possible, because even people like myself with a Series X, I mean, like I said, I would put one in my bedroom, you know what I mean? And if I'm playing down here and my girlfriend just hey, she'll boot up some, simple little game and she enjoys those. So she might play more. And I think that's the biggest thing.
You would also get the
Also-
ability to play multiplayer, like on two different TVs.
Yeah.
Like if there's a game that you guys play together, you can play in the same household on different TVs without having to spend an additional $300 to $500.
Also,
Yeah, it's
Crispy,
huge.
you just unlocked something in my head here. When they say streaming devices, are they like real talk? Are they necessarily talking about making their own stick, or do they maybe mean as well, not just making their own, but putting it on an Apple TV,
Holy
putting
crap!
it
I
on
didn't even consider that. Yeah,
a Fire Stick or whatever Google has?
Well, I hope so, because I have a Roku upstairs, and
Exactly.
that would be great. I mean, if I could just all of a sudden download it, and then but that's the thing. I don't think my TV has Bluetooth compatibility, so I don't know if a Roku does. So they might have to bring out their own stick just to make sure that you're able.
For sure.
Play. You know what I'm saying? So,
but like that's the way I think, because like there's no way that this could. This is only an Xbox. You know what I mean? Like when I think about this, I close my eyes. It is a multimedia stick. Like I have my Netflix, I have my Hulu, I have all the things. You may be saying, Joe, why that? The teraflips, the teraskips. Because those people, you want an excuse to turn that thing on constantly, right? Or on the regular. So what better way of offering those media like services on that stick? And maybe that even goes to lead credence to the Disney Plus thing that they're doing as well. That's what you unlock in my head, Crispy. So I thank you for.
Yeah, basically, I think it's going to be a big deal, and
if it's ready to go by this holiday, and it is going to be, it's going to be a big seller for Xbox. But and again, to close out this topic, I got to go to Dreadpool on this. Dreadpool, listen. You heard everyone's opinion. You've heard what I had to say, but I'm interested to get your thoughts on the potential of having a Christmas device in an era right now. I mean, listen, COVID is starting to get under control, but it's not going away. That's a reality, right? It's still here, and gaming has not been. It's big. It's as big as it's ever been because people are still at home. People aren't really going out as much. This is a device that could make bank for Microsoft, but they could sell in an absolute abundance of amount. But this also goes to the importance of their E3 conference that's coming this Sunday, because obviously the normies aren't going to be watching it, but they're going to be getting told by their friends, oh my God, you're not going to believe what's coming into Xbox Game Pass, XYZ, second party, third party, and first party games. But if they could bring this out, if they could deliver a console in your palm when next gen consoles are so hard to find, what are your thoughts of the significance of this for the industry, but more importantly, Microsoft?
It's a big deal. The funny thing is, we're talking about chip shortages. We're talking about all of this. Do you realize it's even affecting my industry? It's affecting a lot of other industries that don't even deal with gaming. All right. So it's a big deal overall. So to find a way to get around that and get more people, let's say, in the door, that's one way to do it. The other, we're 4G QTV. We were talking about pricing. We figured if it goes from just a stick alone from $40 to $80, right? And a controller $60. So you can go from $100 to $150, no problem, or somewhere in between. And that pricing gets you right in the door, because for us, I think they're going to sell it with a controller right away. So for us, we already have controllers. It's not going to be a big deal. But to get somebody in the door, you got to add that controller. And to have that access is going to be a good thing. They're also not just a stick. They're doing the software, right? We also have the browser. So yet again, they can incorporate those. I don't know if they would do that necessarily with Apple TV or Roku, only for the fact that you can't control that. But at the same time, it's an app. And if you're having problems, you're having problems. And here's the funny part is these devices are not meant to be the best place to play. our consoles will always be the best place to play. It's just
Indeed.
to get you in the door. Okay, so don't think that this is going to be a replacement. It's going to be a nice thing to have. Like I've said it before, I used to travel all the time. I used to bring my 360 and my PS3 to go play. My 360, I didn't have a browser at that time, so I couldn't log into the hotel's site. All right, so I had to bring my PlayStation 3 so I could log in and get access to the internet and be able to play online. You know, so I was doing that. You know, and now imagine, you know, freaking out, especially with today's scarcity of these consoles, putting in one of each console in a duffel bag and leaving it at a hotel while you go to work. You know, and you got the cleaning crew coming in. Imagine how scared you're going to be in today's age. But you get the little stick. You put it in there. No one's going to see it behind the TV. No one's going to look. No one's going to think about it. Plus, if you lose it, it's $100. You know, it's not as prevalent to you to be like worried about. Am I going to lose it? Is something going to steal it? Is something going to happen to it? $100 is $100, but you can put it in your pocket and walk away and nobody would notice. You come back, you pop it in. You go to your friend's house. Hey, check this out. Bam. You know what I mean? It's that word of mouth that gets it out there. You know, show me this, show me that. You know, not everybody wants to play off a phone, but doing that gets you that console, more of a console-like experience than a phone would do. You know, we can stream our phones to our PCs. We can stream our phones to the TVs. You know, so we got all that access. This is just another means to an end to get everybody into the service, regardless of it. Okay, we talked about, is it going to be a console? Well, it technically is a computer chip. It's technically hardware, so it could be considered a series, whatever, and it's a console. So now you can go back into those console numbers if you really want to swing it around, like you got something. But it's you know what I mean? It's engagement numbers is really where it's at, and both companies have said it. Engagement is where the real true numbers are now, because it's not the same as it was before. With online, you have more access to more games. You have more access to more abilities to interact with others, or you could watch what is it, Peacock if you want. You could watch Netflix. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't see them going only for gaming, but I see them making it just like a seamless interaction with a console, or as a console. You know what I'm saying? So you can do all that, and you think how small it is, and you forget that it's running in the background. You know what I mean? You look at your Xbox now, it's huge. You look at your PlayStation, it's even bigger. But you put those things out there like that, it's a little bit easier. You got to remember, not everybody can afford this stuff. We are the country that likes disposable everything, right? We want this now. And Texas, right? Everything's big in Texas. Well, it's not just Texas anymore. Everything's big in the U.S. We got to go overboard. And Wilmy, because he wants to and he can afford to, has plenty of consoles he can play and choose from, and go into any room and play whatever he wants. That's his choice. He didn't have to do it. But
I've been meaning to put one in my master bath. I just haven't got around to it yet.
Right. Okay. Well,
you know what I mean?
Good to know. Well, now you can do that with the stick. You plug it in, you go. You're playing in the tub.
Well, you use you just bring the bigger console in there, and you can heat up the bath water and keep it warm longer. It's and then you look at it in the mass sense, right? Wilmy said cell phone users, right? They are gamers too. Nobody wants to admit it, but they are. Right? They are a demographic. So isn't that why we have Game Pass and Xbox apps on our cell phones? It's a demographic there. You get that to other countries that can't really afford that or don't even have it yet, right? There's certain countries that don't have Xboxes yet. So you bring this out, And guess what? Now you have more ability for other countries. You know, everybody talks about way back in the day, oh, you know, Japan, they have small apartments, they have, you know, they have space that they have to worry about. They wouldn't want a PlayStation 5 because it's so huge, you know, and then you get the other side of like, you know, they wouldn't want an Xbox because it looks like a cylinder brick. Okay, well, that's fine. Here you go. Here's your little USB, HDMI stick that you slap in the back of the TV. Or don't forget, we've been talking about it for years, and it was just pushed out again yesterday. The apps on your TVs.
Yep.
So there's so many different avenues to get it with, right? So you don't. If you think about it, right, all these car manufacturers, they want you to buy their cars. So what do? They give you different models, right? So every model will have its own little price point in between also. So, you know, you want a Cadillac, you want a Jeep, you know, are you going GM? Are you going Ford? Are you know what I mean? There's so many different things there. And when you hit people from different areas and different avenues of the economy, right? When you hit that like that, it doesn't matter where you're from, what you're doing, you're in their system. And if you drop out on this, they still have plenty from the other side that'll cover for it. So, and that's where it's at. It's all about the money. It's all about getting us what we want, but they get what they want. So don't forget that they're companies. They want to make money. You know, they're going to do the right thing by us, but they're more likely doing the right thing by them.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
by giving us what we want.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, it's a corporation. They're going to make money. But listen, folks, this has been a fantastic show so far. Obviously, the main advertisement is we're going to get into what happened at yesterday's Geoff Keighley Summer Games Fest event and what didn't happen. You know, we're going to give grades. We're going to say whether we're disappointed, whether we wanted more, what saved the show, what failed the show. But Joe, I just got to grab your ear before I do. Let me just catch up on some channel members and super chats. First of all, Nick Reynolds becomes a channel member. Thank you, Nick. Definitely appreciate that. We also have some super chats. Very good friend of the show, Fuzzy Belvedere, drops a $5 super chat and says, "I see them giving away the streaming stick with a 3 months Game Pass sub, free controller with 6 months sub." You know what, dude? You just don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. But JC Colin Moreau drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, if they do family plan, I'll buy 2 day one. And I think they're going to have to do that with the family plan as well. Mark LaPrade drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, as a father of 3 kids, buying 3 streaming sticks will be cheaper and a console type experience for them, but easier on my wallet. See, that is exactly what we're talking about. First of all, great statement, but thanks for the support with the super chat, Mark. Definitely appreciate you being here. Keo Walker, another generous friend of the show who became a channel member yesterday. Thanks for that, brother. He says this after dropping a $5 super chat. Imagine if the stick includes 100 to 200 gigabyte to store a couple of games. You can still make the $100 to $150 price range. Indeed, that's a pretty interesting point. Nick Reynolds drops an additional support with the $2 super chat. Says, happy to support and I appreciate your integrity. Oh, thanks a lot, dude. That means more to me than you could possibly imagine, because integrity is definitely at the forefront of how I produce the weekly content. But Joe, wow, these screenshots from the Halo TV series,
right?
Oh my God, folks, this could potentially be the year of Halo. This could be the year of gaming shows on TV. Joe, talk about it. They showed about 7 different clips, and the one with Master Chief looking up is like something right out of the game.
Yeah, the helmet straight up is just a little wider because obviously you need to.
You got to put a human head in there. You got the guy playing him has a big head. Yes.
Oh shoot, this looks cool. Honest to goodness, like usually I hate when you're in a video game conference and they talk TV, right? We see no Xbox, we got some feelings about that. I know PlayStation when they talk about powers, it was awful, but I don't care if they show me the first trailer of the Halo TV show on the conference. That would not be a waste of time. I encourage it. I
Yes.
encourage it. It looks awesome.
It does
Oh
look
my
good.
god! And you see, like the Prophet looks fucking dope. Oh my god! I'm sorry,
The
Chris, but I can't.
Prophet looks like something
Oh,
out of the
I can't.
game. Like it
It
logistically, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
this is special. Again, I hope it's real, and if it's not, you done. You done. You got me. You got me. That said, I'll tell my thoughts, and then I gotta skid you out of here. I gotta drive my brother to the doctors. But
yeah. All right. So let's get into your opinion of the Jeff
Let's do
show,
it.
and then we'll
Yeah.
get you on out of here, folks. Yes.
wasn't good.
Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world we've ever seen, but there's a reasoning why
Mhm.
you feel that this show, along with potentially many others, could potentially go the way of what we saw. And why is that, Joe?
So yeah, I've been saying this for a minute now. Keep your expectations level. This is probably what a lot of it's going to be. We're seeing a lot of companies I think at this point in time, doing a really great job of setting expectations, actually telling you before the event goes live of what to kind of expect, or really what not to expect, or what not to see at their event. So, the Summer Games Fest, I had almost no opinion about, because honestly, I kind of feel like it's been overshadowed a bit by E3, which is ironic. But the one thing that I was excited to see was Elden Ring. So, honestly, my big point of contention with this thing is it said it was a 90-minute show, and it was over 2 hours. At least that's what it felt. At least, the beginning was good. Like, you did see some games there, like Tiny Tina's Wonder World and stuff like that. Like, that looks cool. The Kojima thing, they just need to get married. He has a lot of admiration for that man. But a lot of surprisingly quite a bit of PlayStation stuff. They did tease, like, if you're interested in the PlayStation stuff, that when they talked about Kojima, they said you'll see more of it in a few weeks. So that teases that.
That goes Joe, that goes along
So
with
he
the
has a-
original rumor of June 28th. I don't know if that's that's a thing, but it certainly would give them their own spotlight and be out of E3's way.
Yeah, I think anytime I see an exact date to anything, you could kind of take it with a grain of salt, because I think it's like we have a target of this week. I don't think anybody yet knows the exact date. So that said, I do think it's like end of June, maybe early July, maybe even mid-July. Who knows? PlayStation at this point thinks they're Nintendo. Let's see how it pays off. That said, the show itself was way too long. And they showed us like second thing, like the Overwatch thing. It's like, oh, hey, look here's Baptiste, and here's Sombra. Look at their new models. Okay, bye-bye. And then like Valorant, it's like, here's a sneak peek at Valorant, and it's literally like 2 seconds staring at like a robot screen. I don't know what it was. And it was like, boom, Valorant over. Hey, we have this ad for Amazon because they're sponsoring this show. Boom, here you go. It was a lot of like weird second long things with weird intermissions in between. A very, very poorly paced show, because they had so much to show and not a lot of it was actually worth showing. That said, let's just talk about it, because I'm leaving. I got to. The Elden Ring. It's been 2,271 days since the launch of Bloodborne. I love it so much. It's dear to me. But I know it now. It's precisely about 1 day since we seen the Elden Ring trailer, and I saw God. It is literally the culmination. It seems like, from what I've seen, it's like the culmination of everything From Software has ever learned, whether it's through Demon Souls, whether it's through Dark Souls, whether it's Sekiro, whether it's Bloodborne, all of it we see on display here. And what it gives me vibes of, because they tease of an openish world, is this really does seem like this is From Software's Ocarina of Time.
Oh, interesting.
Where you have this huge hub world, you're traveling with Epona, and you're just going to each other little hub area to fight said hub boss. So I am very, very excited. And that hype, like the opera, like the like I was like, oh my god, let's.
Were you surprised by the release date, January 22nd, dude? That's not that far away.
Luke Lore, who sucks and who wants to steal my joy, said, "Oh, there's no way it hits that date." And I go, Luke, are you an idiot? Are you dumb? Like, how much oxygen was in that womb, Luke? Because you're an idiot. You sound dumb. Anyway, he's stupid. Usually, from what I understand, and please don't course correct me here, because this is what I need to believe to survive. Is that when usually From Software puts out a date to something?
They're usually strong with that date. Yeah, that means that they're confident that it's coming out on that date. Yeah.
They're confident in that date. So I don't think there's no way. Like I have faith that this thing is Game of the Year 2022 in January 21st. But even if it does get delayed by a little bit, I think it's by weeks and not like the worst thing in the world. But I am so in Boom.
Yeah,
this is my pride, my joy. I put out, you know how little I care about YouTube. I put out a reaction video just to share my hype for this game. That's how, and I know like Bandai Namco is gonna come over there. They're gonna break my kneecaps and then give me a flag of some sort. But it's worth it. It's worth getting kneecapped for via SEO, because this game means. So, or this company, these are the people I stand. When
yes.
Joe, are you an Xbot? Are you a Sony pony? Are you in the 10 boy? I said, no. I'm a From Software
nerd.
Shill. I will take a bullet for this team. There's nothing I wouldn't do. But anyway, guys, I love y'all.
Yeah, love you too, Joe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck with your brother.
Good day, dude.
Take care, brother.
Yeah.
Let's get to Wilmy Hood. Wilmy, you are one of the most honest guys and content creators on YouTube, outside of myself and everybody a part of this panel. We pride ourselves of being fair, but you also are not afraid or ashamed to say something sucked. And I think that's where we're going with this. Wilmy, this was look. Here's the thing, folks. Let me roll back the tape for a second. As a content creator, my job is to entertain. And part of that entertainment is to make sure that the content that I am putting out there is, of course, entertaining, it's quality. It requires a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that the information is right. I have gotten it wrong more times than I can count, but I will own that. I usually sit and watch these, like not like a regular person. I sit there like a reporter. Screens on, usually 2 screens are open. And I'm watching it from 2 different perspectives, and I'm writing. And I normally write all the way through an entire event, whether it be 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, it doesn't matter. I'm always writing because I got to take notes, and then I rewatch it again to make sure I didn't miss anything. Well, this event, I stopped writing after 36 minutes. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is a bad sign for Mr. Boomstick, because that means that what I'm watching isn't worth the time to put into actually sitting there. I looked at my watch, and listen, if you have to look at your watch while doing something, then obviously what you're doing isn't worth your time. So Wilmy, what is your opinion about this Geoff Keighley event? And again, listen, the event itself, the production value is what I would expect from Geoff. It was on the same level as the Game Awards 2020, which I highly praise because of the production values. But the content, outside of a few, and there was only, and I mean a few, was awful. What are your thoughts on this, dude?
Well, it was completely pointless. It was a mobile. They should just call it, Summer Snooze Fest Mobile Edition. Most of these games are games that I know I'll never play ever. I don't care what happens. I will never touch some of these games. It was a big push for Amazon or Prime type games, which they were one of the biggest sponsors. He said that several times during the show.
Yep.
I was happy to see The Evil Dead, because if you know me and if you follow me, that's my thing.
Yep.
I was happy to see that, but come on, I follow Bruce Campbell. I would have saw it anyway. But Elden Ring looked cool. It still wasn't enough to save this sorry excuse for a show. Come on, dude. I've had more fun masturbating with sandpaper Um, after, you know, about an hour and a half into the show, I went outside, beat my head into a palm tree, came back in trying to wake up. I saw Elden Ring. I was happy to see Elden Ring, but I mean, it's still, the show was just so long, drawn out, boring. You know, a lot of these games were the same thing, pretty much, just with different skins. And me personally, I know everybody plays different types of games. I don't really care for JRPGs. I've played a few, but it's not my thing. I don't care for hand drawn. I didn't pay $8,000 for a fucking television to play a passion project by somebody with a paintbrush and Adobe. I mean, I want next gen. I want new games. I want something that makes my eyes bleed. I want to see something worthy of watching that 2-hour show. And then sadly, that's 2 hours of my life I'm never going to get back now. And why he even did it so close to E3 still blows my mind. I'm not really sure why. I guess he wanted to keep it relevant. But, I mean, and I also noticed Microsoft didn't give him much.
No.
There were a couple of games on there that says, well, you know, this will become straight to Game Pass, and that was it. I think there was maybe 2 to 3 games. Oh, and Master Jazz, I don't have to be grateful, dude. I pay a lot of money to game. They don't give me shit. I've got tens of thousands of dollars invested into gaming. It's not ungrateful. This is just what I expect. But the thing is, it could have been much better. And I think, too, that Microsoft is keeping a lot of their stuff for Sunday for their own show.
Yeah, indeed.
And Sony is doing the same thing. I think COVID has taught a lot of these companies they can do their own shows, and that's what they're trying to do. I think they get a better response. And Microsoft really didn't give him anything to run on at all. It was basically, I did like a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, but I mean, I already had that pre-ordered anyway. But it was a snooze fest. It really, truly was, man. And I know some people were excited for it. I'm not one of those people. I'm really not. It was actually worse than the Xbox Indie show a few months back.
You know what? That's funny you say that, because that's exactly what me and Joe were talking about before we went live. I would say that I would dare say that it was as poor as that one. I agree.
Oh yeah, I mean, the only thing that saved his show from being worse is we didn't have the developer Fuzzy Bunny Slippers or whatever they were called showing that weird fishing game for an hour. But I mean, it was terrible. I don't know any other good way to put it. And if you found something in that show that thrilled you or made your nipples hard, hey, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you found something you liked. Me personally, I thought the whole thing was garbage, other than Evil Dead and Elden Ring.
Yeah, you know that there were. I mean, the notes I have in front of me. What excited me, because I'm a Borderlands fan, and it's funny. I hardly put any time into Borderlands 3. I just could not get into that game. I don't know what it was.
I couldn't get into 3. I guess maybe I played so much of 1 and 2.
Maybe that's my thought and process as well, because I played the shit out of Borderlands 1 and 2. To the point of nauseum, and for some reason could not, for the love of Joe, get involved with 3. I tried it. I just could not get into it.
Matter of fact, Deadpool and I and Leo, we beat the story together on 3.
Yep.
And everybody that's ever watched my show, you know, Leo, he is all into Borderlands, and I've tried to go back and play it with him. I just cannot get into it like I did the first 2. So to see, you know, Tina come back with something, that's great. But I don't know. I think they've lost the magic of Borderlands at this point.
I mean, it's possible. I'm interested in it because of the fantasy setting. The fact that, of course, it's Borderlands, so it's a looter shooter. This over here, I mean, you're going to be able to change your appearance. It's going to be very RPG-esque. I don't know how much different than Borderlands 3 is it going to be, but if you are a fan of the artwork, the art style, definitely for you. Salt and Sacrifice looked dope. I played the first one. I didn't get as far as people that really enjoy that series. I mean, that type of genre, because I just don't have the patience for it. The Kojima Death Stranding cut was interesting because basically he shit on Konami right live on the air.
Yes, he did.
You know, he picked out the box. You know, you had the mode where the guards are walking around. Like I thought it was gonna turn to some sort of Metal Gear or something. Now, obviously, the director's cut is probably going to be some stuff that was taken out. I don't know if that mode, if what we saw was what you would expect in the Kojima trailer, where they're going to show us stuff that's not going to be in the game. That could be possible. Is it going to be like Metal Gear? I don't know. And of course, you know, obviously, Elden Ring was the big banger. But for me personally, folks, I got to tell you, and again, this is not being negative to be negative, being negative to be honest. This was supposed to be the kickoff to E3, and for me, it was more of a trip and fall and stumble. And for me, and
I was looking for the life alert lady. You remember those?
Yes,
I've
fallen and I can't get up. Yes,
I think Geoff should have done that at at least the first 45 minutes into the show, especially when Kojima made his little appearance. Because I'm here to tell you, man, if there is anybody that stands harder for Kojima than Geoff Keighley, I don't know who that person on the planet is.
Yeah, no, you're definitely.
I mean, I think they just need to get an apartment together somewhere, and just do their thing. Because, I mean, Kojima, I've played the guy's games over the years. I mean, if you're the age me and Boom are, you've played Kojima games. You've played more than your share of them. The dude is brilliant. I give him that. But I think he's at that stage now. He should start making movies. Because basically that's what a lot of his games truly, truly are. They're more movie experience than they are gaming. So I think he should just start making movies, open up a movie studio, and he and Geoff Keighley get together and make movies.
I mean, listen, it's certainly possible for sure, and I agree with you. I think he that's. I mean, again, we have to, I still think he's going to be a part of Microsoft's E3 in some fashion. I think that is something. A collaboration is in fact going to be announced. I think that's big. Real quick, Dovkin89 in the chat drops an additional, very generous $2 super chat and says, "Great show, C+/B- because of Elden Ring." For me, I got to be honest with you. I give it a C, straight up C, not a minus, not a plus. I think that it was what it is. But I'm interested to get Crispy Bomb and Dreadpool's opinion. Crispy, let's get your opinion on this. This was presented to the gaming community as the kickoff for E3. This is Geoff, leaving the ESA, doing his own thing, having the backing of course, Amazon, and I again, kickoff, no, more like fumble. This did not have a lot of content, and again, I don't know if this is because of what Joe was saying in regards to temper expectations or what, but I mean, like I said, when I stop writing after 36 minutes and you start seeing like Calvary 2 pop up there and a lot of mobile stuff, I was rolling my eyes, like, and yawning. And again, like I said, I disagree with some of the tactics that Geoff has done. I still feel he's important for the industry, but this was a really bad showing, at least in my honest opinion. What is your opinion of the show?
Can I have my 2 hours back?
No, you cannot. Sorry.
I literally, I almost fell asleep a couple times. My girlfriend's like, you gonna fall asleep? I'm like, I feel like I'm getting there. It's one of those strange things where, like, I go and I think about it now, and I'm like, okay, this is basically a very long, drawn out indie showcase. That's basically how it felt. Now, yes, you got Elden Ring, you got Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. After that, I mean, The Evil Dead is the only game, by the way, that really was
one real quick. I want to add the Metal Slug Tactics look dope if you are a fan of SNK and of course those kind of tactics games.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan, and it's just like if you're a fan of Elden Ring, you are like, you can give this a 10 of 10. You know what I mean? If you're a From Software, Souls like games, you are you are ready to roll. That saved the whole show for you. You don't need to see anything else. For me, not a Souls fan. Might as well beat my head against a wall. Any of them that I've actually played, and I just forgot which ones I've played because it was like, no, it's like I'm not doing this, and it's one of those things that you have to really love those games, and if you do, you are super excited. But for me, like Evil Dead was the only thing that was like, okay, like I'm definitely interested. Another tidbit that you got was that like Tunic, you're going to be able to play a demo on Tuesday.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you're going to be, and that's the one thing that he didn't really get. See, this is what I get a little annoyed about, because he made the mention of it under his breath and didn't follow through with the thought. And sometimes I'm not suggesting that he did it on purpose. I'm saying that this is why I sometimes think the Xbox brand for Geoff just doesn't resonate in a way that it should, being the position that he holds. Because if you didn't know, they did this last year. On Tuesday, there are going to be potentially 100+ games you can download to try out on the Xbox. It's basically their E3 at home event that they did last year. And Geoff barely mentioned it. He said, oh yeah, Tunic, fellow Canadian, is going to be a part of, you can play the demo on Tuesday. And he started to say it and then stopped. And I don't understand why that is. Was it on purpose? Was it because Sony is his brand and he can't cop for Microsoft at any point? I don't know. But again, it's those kind of deals with Geoff that annoy me a little bit, because to be honest with you, the Tuesday thing is a big deal. You're gonna see some of these games at E3, and you're gonna actually be able to play them as if you were at E3 playing these demos. And again, I don't know if he was supposed to say it, not supposed to say it, but that's the kind of crap that annoys me. But please, I'm sorry, Crispy, continue.
No, it does for me too, because he's like kind of at the beginning, like being like, oh, let's not be console war. He said it in a different way, but it's just like, and then it's like you almost did that. Now, granted, and I remember, and it might have been on the show, I said Amazon Luna is just going to be Prime Gaming, and I think we just saw it, and a lot of people ignored it. But I said you have a gigantic subscription base already. Why not use it? So I think Luna is just going to be integrated with Prime Gaming, and that's what it's going to be, Prime Gaming. So that could be also a reason, because now you have streaming platform competition. So I mean, I'll give Geoff a little pass if Amazon was like, we want you to tone down the Xbox talk or something. You know what I mean? And it could happen.
That's a great point, dude. That's a great point.
So maybe I'm going to give them a pass because they are now streaming competitors in a way, shape, or form. Even though we could see, people talk about Xbox's quality. Well, there you go on the other one. Like you don't have it yet. Like they're advertising Battlefield 4. So just think about that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, that could be a reason. I will say that, the production value was there, but I feel like, Geoff, why not just bring that production value to help out E3 in a way? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, he helped in a way last year, but also it didn't help. It almost dragged on, things that were like, whatever, you know what I mean? And now you've just seen tidbits on a lot of these things, and you'll find out more. So you're just dragging it out. And it's just like, am I going to want to watch again? That's, you know what I mean? Like for the next little show that they do, am I going to want to watch? I don't know. And I doubt it. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to feel like I need to get my hour or my 2 hours back. And I think that's the problem he faces right now, because it's like, you said, oh, find out more later on a lot of these things. And it's like, dude, really? Like, this is supposed to be the kickoff. This is you're kicking off the whole thing right now. That's basically what you're doing. And it fell flat, and then I'm sticking with it. 5 of 10 for me.
Yeah. Okay. Strong point. Let's get Dreadpool. Dreadpool. This is an event that a lot of people walked away disappointed. And I think it's fans across the board. I don't think that it's a particular group like Xbox or any or PlayStation players or even Nintendo players. Nintendo really had basically no presence there whatsoever. They had, I think, one thing, no big deal. But what did you walk away feeling? Were you disappointed? Were you happy, excited, or somewhere in the middle? Yep, snort. There you go.
Wait. Yeah.
You're up.
No.
There you go.
All right,
You're
so
back.
no, no, that was my comment to the show.
Yeah, no, I got you. I know what you
Okay.
meant.
You're like, you're back. I'm like, no, I'm not saying us.
No, I know what you meant.
So, I mean, obviously, Evil Dead for me. I mean, everybody knows Dreadites are in full force, but you got Jeff Goldblum. What the heck was that about?
Yeah,
You know
that
what
was
I mean?
the Jurassic. What was it called? Jurassic
No,
Park
but
Evolution
I
2.
meant his whole acting thing and his spiel about it. It was so cringy. You know what I mean? I was happy to see Jurassic World Evolution 2 come out. You know what I mean? But the whole pre spiel that he did, and it was kind of funny how he's trying to make fun of Jeff and how it's written.
Yeah,
But it was like, and after that, everything else just came across cringe. I was like, all right, what are you getting at? Okay, Jeff and Jeff. But it just went downhill from there. But I was happy to see Jurassic Park, just because more people are yet again interested in dinosaurs. Maybe Dino Crisis will be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talked about Dead Space and the Calypso project, right? Why are we happy for that? Because some of us want to see Fear to come back again. You know what I mean? So we want to see that stuff. And the Kojima part, I literally was expecting Jeff to like open up the covers, climb out of bed, and as he pulled up the covers even more, Kojima would be sitting in there, laying in bed. You know what I mean? That's how cringy it was with that part of it. It was like, man, you two should have just been in bed together. I mean, you are, but overall, I took away a few things. In between all that yawn fest, Metal Slug Tactics. I mean, if putting it together and seeing it, it feels like it just belongs. It feels like that's one of those games that just makes sense to go to a tactics route. To be able to expand from the same old. And I know it's a beloved. Did I say Metal Gear or Metal Slug? It's my head says
it doesn't matter,
gear.
but yeah,
But you know what I'm talking about. Metal Slug Tactics.
Yeah.
It puts in there. Like I said, it's a beloved franchise, but to me, it's getting kind of old. And doing this kind of revitalizes it. It gives it a different feel. It opens it up for other people in another genre that like that. The tactics genre that they can get into it and maybe get a little bit more familiar with the characters. And Tina's Wonderland was pretty cool because I'm sure Leo and I are going to be playing it. I don't know if we can convince Wilmy to come back. Salt and Sacrifice, that was pretty cool. I liked it right from the get-go, but I'm also going to say because it had a Boba Fett helmet in there, which I know is medieval. But some of the other ones, I know people got excited for Tales of Rise. It didn't hit me. I tried to be interested, but I just couldn't do it. And you got some of them that were like, why did you even show this? I mean, Overwatch 2, what was that about? I mean, it was cool to see that, but I don't think it needed to be in this project here to maybe do this off on the side, or when you do the developer section, let the developers talk about their games and their stuff like that. Put it in there. I know it'll probably get eclipsed in there also, but it didn't make sense. We want to see gameplay. We want to see new games, and it was nice to be able to announce an Overwatch 2, but we really didn't see any. You know what I mean? We didn't see anything to be like all excited about. Oh, great! We're gonna have all these little nano points on her costume, but yet you're not going to see it when you're playing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was cool that they've gone that far into detail, but who did they go into detail for? For the hacker, they're going to put it on the prawn hub. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense. So
there were a lot of aspects to the show, Dreadpool, that felt extremely out of place.
right, and that was I think what it ended up being. I don't know if they did it on purpose, but it ended up being filler.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
indeed.
And
Yes.
that's I think that's kind of what it was. I mean, yeah, Elden Ring. Hey, guess what? I'm happy for you guys. I am so happy for you guys. It looked incredible. I like the part where the lady with the red hair. I was like, Red Sonja. If I'm playing this, I'm playing as Red Sonja. But that was like the only thing I could get myself interested in it. It's nice that it's 4-player, open, a little bit more on the open world side, but if it's a little bit more like Sekiro, whichever way you say it, I could see it being a little bit more advantageous for other players that aren't as hardcore as the Dark Souls fans. But it's to each their own. And if this is your thing, I mean, look at Joe. He's all about it. So I'm happy for him. I found a couple games that I liked out of it, and that's really the main takeaways. Did you find something you liked? The rest of it, yeah, we probably could have skipped through it. And sometimes watching these live is great, but at the same time, this is what kills a lot of these shows is the filler that nobody's interested in. And there will always be somebody interested in something. But sometimes, like you said, you go back through the show and you watch it again. But guess what? I know sometimes, I'm sure you probably do it because I do it. You speed through the stuff. You're like, all right,
Yes,
and
I always do it,
no
especially
need
on a
for this one.
rewatch. Yep.
Yeah, there's no need for this. But you get people that miss it out because they're at work. I had plenty of friends that missed out, and I'm sitting there in the DMs and we're going back and forth. They're like, man, I wish I could see this because they're excited for what we're typing in. Oh, this game's out. This game's putting out now, and they're excited. And fortunately for them, they could fast forward through the fodder that they don't like. So, but it was definitely a meh for me. It just wasn't up to par. I expected more, I guess, because of the Game Awards. He was building and doing better, but at the same time, this is the Super Bowl for us, right? You don't.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be anyway. If this was their kickoff to Super Bowl, like I said, they fumbled and it wasn't good. But listen, we have 25 minutes left, and you know what? We're gonna have some fun. Now, I did. Which got very good, a lot of views on it, I'm very happy because that means people are enjoying the content. On Thursday's Xbox Factor prediction show, but these three gentlemen that are here hadn't had a chance to give their expectations for the big Xbox show, and I figured that we have some time, and you know what, we want to keep this party train rolling. So I want to do that, but before I do, I got to thank a couple of people with some super stickers. Adam Harris, thanks for being here, Adam. Thank you for your generosity. He drops very generous, a $3 super sticker, and of course, Dan Lazaro, generous friend of the show. Dan, thank you for being here, brother, and thank you for the generosity. He says Evil Dead was the only thing that interested me. Fistful of Boomstick, which was dope, was one of my favorite OG Xbox games. Yeah, I hope that this does justice for that franchise. I'd love to see them do like a survival horror, Resident Evil type of Evil Dead. I mean, like full on production value. I'm gonna buy this day one. I'm a diehard fan. In fact, that's where my Mr. Boomstick even comes from, is from the Evil Dead. But we'll start with Wilmy. Wilmy, this Sunday's E3 for Xbox has a significant level of importance that I don't know if people are considering how important it is. Now, I have a really strong suspicion that it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I think that the reason why Geoff didn't get anything isn't because they have beef. It's because Xbox is saving it for their community who has been supporting them even when other people left the ship. But I'm interested to get your opinion. What are you expecting from the Bethesda Xbox event that goes live 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Sunday afternoon?
I'm going to be honest. I don't like getting trapped into these because every time we get hyped up, it's almost like somebody comes and takes the joy from it. I've got a lot of expectations, and doing podcasts, I've heard a lot of things behind the scenes, and over the years, you learn to take everything with a truckload of salt because a grain of salt just doesn't cut it. I'm hearing everything from new studio acquisitions. I'm hearing,
according to Colt Eastwood and Tim Dog, 26 is the new 23.
And and don't get me wrong, I consider Colt a friend and Tim Dog, and I just don't want to put my neck on the chopping block, so to speak. I'm going to temper my expectations a little bit, just a little. I do think there's going to be a lot of surprises. I think a lot of people are going to be shocked. From what I've heard, if any of it rings true. And matter of fact, Boom, when you were on ILP Sunday, I heard your prediction.
Yeah, they were ridiculous.
And matter of fact, I told King David, if you guys are wrong, I want that tattoo back off his chest.
I remember that comment. Yes, yeah, I remember that. That's funny.
But I mean, I think Xbox is really going to shock a lot of people.
Yes.
But what I want to see from them, honestly, is I want to see something kind of like a Ratchet and Clank.
Banjo-Kazooie. Yes.
I want to see something really just mind-blowing. I don't want to see a game that I could have played on my, Xbox One. I don't want to see a 360 type game. I want to see something new, and I want to see something great. And that's what I'm holding out for. And I mean, E3 is huge. And I'm really a lot more excited for it this year than I have been in a long time, even though we can't personally go. But that's what I want to see. And I think, there's going to be a lot of surprises coming down the pipeline, even with Bethesda. So I hope we're not wrong.
Well, I will say, though, the Bethesda thing is a little bit of an enigma for me personally, because obviously the star of the show was Starfield. And I think God Howard is going to come out. He's going to come out in his brown leather jacket. He's going to put on a show. He's a showman. He is a showman to its core. He's going to give the people what they want. So one of my picks, and I don't know if you agree or not, and this is thanks to, of course, Archimedes, who and I are in agreement that the development of Wolfenstein or Wolfenstein. I hope you're listening. I got it right. I think I got it right there. Boxer Bear has been in development for a very long time. And I think that is one of those games that they're going to bring out this year to replace the fact that, because I still think there's going to be a trilogy of incredible Xbox titles launched back to back to back. I've been saying that my original theory, Wilmy, was that September was going to be Forza Horizon 5. October was going to be Starfield, and of course the big daddy of them all, Halo Infinite in November. So now I'm thinking we swap out Starfield because we're hearing late 2022 because they want to do more to the game. By all means, take all your time. I think you slide Wolfenstein 3 right in there. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that we see it, and more importantly, do we get it this year?
I don't know. I mean, if we do, that's great. I've played them all. I still own them all.
Me too. Love them all, except for the last one with the twins. Not a fan.
Yeah, it was a little hokey. And being a Southerner, hearing their fake Southern accents was kind of cringy. Oh, dude, they were so bad, man. You could tell this was somebody from like New Jersey trying to speak Southern. It was so bad. But the thing is, I don't know, and that's the catch. We don't really know. And if you're an Xbox fan, and everybody that follows me, I'm on everything. I've got PS5s, Xboxes. I play everything everywhere, but my Xbox and my PC are still my preferred. And if you make content of any type, it has been rough if you're an Xbox fan, because for the last, 7 years?
Been a while, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the last 6-7 years, it's been rough, and it's hard to stay positive on anything. And some of us still do because, we're about it for the games. And it's really been hard to stay positive. And I just hope this year it's not a huge letdown. Matter of fact, I made the joke yesterday. If E3 doesn't thrill me, I'm selling all my gaming shit, dude, and I'm going to start snail collecting. And I'm being serious. I'm just done at this point. I'm going to keep my, my gaming PCs, and that's it. I'm going to sell my PlayStations, my Xboxes, all my collectibles. I'm done with gaming. I just want to see something great. I mean, I just want to be shocked. And Wolfenstein would shock me, but on the same hand, I want something new. I really don't want another sequel. If that makes sense. I want new IPs.
Okay.
And I know we're not going to see Fable. That's not coming anytime soon.
I think we might see Avowed, though. I think Avowed might be something that we see.
That's very possible. Well, I mean, that's coming out. No, that's not Avowed, is it? It's coming out this.
No.
Yeah.
Avowed. I think Avowed is a couple of years out. To be honest, with you.
Yeah.
I would say that it could potentially be holiday next year, or even the early part of 2023. But I mean, no one really knows. But I think we could get an actual gameplay demo, because we got a little bit last year with him doing the magic with the hand.
And I would like to see something from the new Hellblade. And
yes,
I just
dude, I think it has to be there. I agree.
I don't want to see like we saw last time with the guy just coming out talking about the game. Let's do it properly. And I think they may have learned from the last shows. We don't want to see, streamers sitting there talking about games they're never going to play, or they have no idea that even exists to begin with. We don't want to hear a bunch of corporate people talking about the game. We don't, we just want to see the games. That's it. And that's what I want to see. And, some people, they're like, oh, well, we want to hear well, do a separate stream for that. But, I just want to see new games, and I really hope Xbox nails it. I do think they will. I've been told by several people. I had a conversation with someone last night, and he said, you are going to be blown away. Everybody's going to be surprised. And I'm like, you better not be lying to me, because if you are, I'm coming to your house. It's not that far to drive. It's really not, it's not that far away. You may live in the Midwest, and I'm on the East Coast, but I can get there. And if not, they make planes for a reason. But, that's what I'm hoping for. I really want Xbox to kill it. So
I you know what, dude? Like, this is one of those instances where I think we're going to be very unbelievably surprised. I think that when you look at, okay, let me just, and I'm gonna segue into Crispy on this. When you look at what they're trying to do, and you both, Crispy and Dreadpool, really had great points on the 7 billion gamers that they are trying to get. Again, they have us. We're already in the bag, folks, right? We buy the T-shirts, we buy the pendants, we buy the games, we buy new controls of 17,000 colors. We are in it, right? They don't need to sell us anything but hope with first party. But what they are trying to do is get the normies involved. And the normies get involved when the hardcore, meaning us, get hyped, and we can't stop talking about said show and said Xbox Game Pass that's coming out, and these games are coming into it. Crispy, this is a big show for everyone at Redmond. I know we always talk about about Phil Spencer. He's the head, he's the face of the company outside, when it comes to gaming. So we are going to talk about him. There are the tons of people that help this, the cogs that help the machine move. The Sarah Bonds, the Larry Herbs, the Matt Booties, the Aaron Greenbergs. Yeah, those are the front-facing folks. But we know that there's tons of people behind the scenes. My question to you, very simply, is what are you expecting from this E3 for Xbox? And do you think they're going to deliver?
It's not even expecting at this point. I feel Xbox, you have to.
Okay,
you have to. It's one of those things at this point that the Xbox has no games BS needs to be killed. Okay.
Yep.
Now we as Xbox fans, at the least, have seen enough. Perfect Dark, Avowed, all these things that have been announced, Hellblade 2, and say we have games, they're just not out yet. You know what I mean? And I think, launching 3 games, whatever titles, it would be Wolfenstein or, whatever it may be, that could be what Jason
Forza.
Ronald was talking about as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, give us, and I think Forza, Forza hasn't been out long enough for them to come out with one and people be absolutely excited about. And the beauty of it is the 80%, like we say, of games are going to come to Game Pass day and date. Like, that is crazy to think about. So I'm actually with Boom. I think we do see more from Avowed. I think because it's being developed in Unreal 4, I think, it should have a year to 2 year window that, it would be logical to show more gameplay. I also think, because Private Division was extremely involved in Outer Worlds, that, and they continue to support that almost as like a second dev for them, that, Obsidian's actually probably been working on Avowed a little bit longer than people realize. Also, I'm thinking out of nowhere, and the out of nowhere one I actually said on Gaming Beyond the Box is Fallout 5, or I'm saying what would be even better is Fallout NCR, which would be a successor to New Vegas.
Yes.
Even if it's just a tease, like a real quick little tease.
I'll take a title screen, dude.
Yeah,
I'll take a title screen. They could pull a Metroid Prime 4 for me, and I'll be just as excited.
You know what I mean? Because and Bethesda's good for that because they've done it already multiple times. So I wouldn't be surprised, because it's like a 3-year thing. They like to tease you, and that's it. That's all you get. You know what I mean? So I would be extremely interested in that. That's kind of my tinfoil hat one. If I take the L on it, so be it. But it would be nice to see. I'm also thinking that we're kind of due for a new Elite controller. So
yes, a 3.0. Yes, indeed.
And especially because I experienced the latency difference. I know there's an update, but that update did not. They're not the same innards. The series controller latency is ridiculous, and I find myself at times more or less putting down my Elite controller because of how the series controller feels, and I'm like, they got to fix that, and that would be a new iteration. So I'm hoping for that because my Series 2, and I you got to understand my Elite Series 2, I beat the heck out of that thing. So, it's I'm due for a new one. It's getting close to 2 years now. I would like a new iteration. I don't want to go and buy another one. I'm done doing that. Like, give me something new, and I think it's time for that. Also, I feel like there's going to be something that is just completely not announced, and that I'm going off of what Jason Ronald said on ILP. I mean, there's got to be something. I mean, we're hearing about the Project Typhoons, the Project Omens. I think it's going to be something that is literally has no inkling of being out there, and somebody might know about it. I'm also thinking that we could get surprised with maybe a Splinter Cell.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
I've been saying that's going to close the show, and it's going to be an exclusive, a 2-year exclusive for Xbox.
I feel like regardless of it, being owned by Ubisoft, that they might not be interested in doing it. It seems like they're going like a free-to-play route at some point. They're going to stick with their Assassin's Creeds and all that, but I feel like they always like kind of Splinter Cell, Xbox always kind of been like married in some way, shape, or form. So it's like, why not, let them kind of, fit the bill, as we like to say, and throw the money out there and let's do it. And, we'll make it a timed exclusive. So, I mean, there's a lot of other games that we could throw out there, but I mean, at the end of the day, I expect to be surprised, and I want to be giving it the best score of like a 9, at the end of it, which it's hard to get a 9 for me. It really is. So, I would love to be able to be like, just smile ear to ear, screaming at my TV. That's what I want.
Yep. That makes 2 of us. Real quick, I got to thank Keo Walker in the chat with a very generous $5 super chat. And he says this: it felt like it was more about him and his taste than what about would appeal to gamers overall. No need to announce new publishers or new dev studios. I think he's talking about the Geoff Keighley show. Yeah, I mean, that's Dreadpool. Listen, the big hubbub, if you will, in the last 24 hours is something that came from both Colt Eastwood, good friend of this show, and of course Tim Dog, who's going to be guest appearing with us on Monday evenings Primetime Gaming, and a good friend of me personally. We talk privately on a regular basis. They said, and I quote, 26 is the new 23. Now, I obviously don't know anything more than that. No one told me any backwater information, but I originally was thinking, my original thought process for E3 was that if it was live, I don't know if that would be the way to do it. But now that it's coming directly, it's a controlled event. It's pre-taped, pre-recorded. It's going to be from Redmond. I think you do announce additional studios, because I don't know what they're going to be. We did a show on Tuesday, the Tuesday edition of Xbox Factor Podcast, where I honestly believe, folks, Crytek was purchased. That's my take. No one gave me that information. I feel it in my guts. Now, am I wrong? Probably. But I'm still going to go out there and throw it out there. I think that's one of them. I don't know who the other two is, but this is going to be interesting. What are you personally expecting from Microsoft's Sunday E3 showcase?
I want to see what Jason Ronald is excited about.
Yep.
He was talking about that there's a game that they have not even told us about, and he's excited about that. And then just a few minutes ago, as you guys were talking, I was listening. It dawned on me, Coalition has a game that's due to come out.
Game. Yes. Yep.
So I'm curious if Jason Ronald's game has anything to do with the Coalition game. So it's hard to say, but I'd like to see what they got anyway. You know what I mean? I liked what they did with what was that game called now? I just forgot. Just drew a blank. But I like what they did with the last game.
Air Statics.
Did I say Coalition? I'm sorry. Compulsion.
Oh yeah, no, Compulsion's game is going to be
God.
there, dude. Let me tell you something. I think you're onto something with that, Dreadpool. Yeah, because this is, if you folks, you've heard me talk about this, and I don't even know what the game is. I'm so excited because it's supposed to be Uncharted meets BioShock, third-person, story-driven horror, and that's coming from Compulsion. And here, and just to prove, to kind of, I'm going to give it back to you in a second, Dreadpool, just to push this point forward. And I think you're onto something here. During an interview with Phil Spencer, and I talked about this on the Xbox Factor podcast, Phil was asked by the interviewer, give me one game that we don't know about that you are absolutely over the moon excited for. And Phil said, and I quote, you know what? Let me give you two. And he talked about Perfect Dark second. He talked about Compulsion's game first. And that is saying something. And I think you're right, dude. I think it's going to be there in a big way.
Yeah. So I think that's what's going to go on. Here's the other part, right? We got the before Colts or Tin Dog said anything, I've been saying WB. I think they're going to do something with WB where they're going to buy them. Maybe not the whole package, but I think they're going to do the Minecraft thing. Right, the Minecraft contract where they get whatever IPs that they can get with those studios that make those IPs, but they'll have to stay multi-plat. Even though, and I know Phil said he wants all these games to go into Game Pass. It wants to stay in Xbox, but I think something like that, making that kind of a deal. Think about it. MLB The Show. What happened? What was that deal? That deal was with MLB. And it went into Game Pass day one.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So doing that within their own, going multi-plat, but it's in Game Pass anyway. So I could see that being a possibility. Wishful thinking? Hell yes, it is. You know what I mean? I want to see Mortal Kombat go to Xbox because I want to see Ed Boon do something with Killer Instinct. So that's going to be a big. He's been hitting at it so many times, and blatantly hitting at it at that too.
Just recently, he talked about it on Twitter. He's been talking about this since 2015. As a matter of fact, a tweet between him and Phil, he said, "Yeah, I'd love to do Killer Instinct versus Mortal Kombat, but it would have to be, it'd have to be an exclusive." And Phil said, and I quote, because I remember it, I talked about this. I love the idea. So that was 2015. You know what? These kind of partnerships take time, and I can actually see that happening.
And from what I hear, okay, what I heard was, when they first went out there and they denied every offer, okay, all I heard was the chair got pushed back. They never got up from the table. So
Wow.
that's why I'm sticking to my guns on this. But that's what I heard. That could also be a whole bunch of BS, and I'm sticking with it as if it's fact. I don't know, but this is my gut feeling. I still want Sega to be part of it, but as of right now, not too sure if that's going to be one of those things. But if you're talking about 23 going to 26, I could see Sega being that part of it with Atlas Studios and
that would
and
be
going.
big, dude. That would be big. I mean, listen, there's a reason why Phil Spencer didn't get on that that video that they put out at the Xbox Wire wrote up the article for, and Satya Nadella was there, and they're talking about the importance. I mean, he came out and said it right after the Bethesda deal, the ZeniMax deal, that why should we make a new studios when we can just buy them? That's balls of steel, and that's how you know that they are far from over in acquiring studios.
Yeah. So then, game wise, other than that Jason Ronald one, I really have no expectations. I just, like Wilmy said, I want to be mind blown. So I'm going in there like I always say, blank slate, start fresh, see what they show us, take away what I will from what I see that I like. Hopefully they give us nonstop action packed trailers, gameplay. And when I say gameplay, I want to see actual gameplay. I want to see controller in hand, guy actually standing in front of it and showing you gameplay. Because when they showed the Halo gameplay, that dude practiced that over and over and over. That was too perfect.
It's scripted, of course. Yeah,
exactly. And I get it. You want to show the best light as you can, but when you have someone that knows how to play, don't grab a celebrity and give them a controller and say, "All right, here you go, play this." No, give someone that understands the game. Give it to one of the devs that's been playing, or even one of the tester, the game testers. Give it to one of them. Give them some name recognition. Put them out there. Here you go, and let them go and do whatever they want in that game. Let them run around, maybe talk about some of it, on how this interaction happens, or the lighting, or as the gameplay is going, talk about it. You know what I mean? On the fly, like they used to do in the old days of E3. You know what I mean? And I know on the old days of E3, they even said, the controller died, the console died. So what they did, they switched to another guy that was literally playing the same thing. They left the guy out on the stage, pretend to play. You know what I mean? But that's like inside stuff. But that's how we want to see all this stuff. You know what I mean? We want to see that somebody's actually playing it. It's not designed to look good because it's been scripted. You know what I mean? Look at speaking of scripted, right? We were just talking about Snooze Fest. And what was the Baldur's Gate game, right? That was scripted.
That was awful. It was awful.
Where am I going? How come I left without my party? Yeah, because you're not playing. You know what I mean?
That was cringe times 10. Yeah.
And the dev goes down. I don't know how that happened. Are you kidding me?
That was awful.
That's and that's what I think we need to do. We need to go back. Like I said, we need to utilize, and I've said it before on this show. We need to go and build E3 back to what it was, but use today's technology. You know what I mean? Go do some of these online things that we do, like they're doing here, so we can get more access to more people. But yet again, let's go back to physical stuff. Let's go back physically hopefully when it's able to. You know what I mean? So when we can do something like that, and we are able to meet up and go play these games for ourselves and actually have our input on, like, holy cow, it's an alpha, but this alpha looked pretty good. It played pretty smooth, give them some feedback, and it's not just a yes man sitting there going, yeah, it's great. and then they push out this video that looked like crap. All this popping, which I didn't notice at first. I'll admit that, because I was too enthralled with
Me too.
the gameplay. You know what I mean?
I wound up getting it on the back end when I watched it like for the fourth or fifth time.
Right. And seeing mountains 300 miles away in full detail. Oh crap.
Yeah.
You don't see that. There's a haze there. You don't, you know what I mean? The people nitpick this stuff too much. Let's not nitpick this. Let's enjoy it for what it is. If there's nothing there for you, then there's nothing there for you. Nobody can make you enjoy it, right? So you can't say have an open mind and force that upon people, right? I say have an open mind, and hopefully something will come across that you'll like, and hopefully some of these games will trigger you in a good way. And if not, hopefully you can at least I don't know, be courteous, because your friends probably are enjoying this game. So let's not trash everything just because of trashing.
No, that makes perfect sense. Listen, again, I think we're all going to be very excited to see what Microsoft has. I think we're all going to be very satisfied with what they bring to the table. But folks, this has been a fantastic 2-hour show. We got to 4 massive topics, and of course, I want to thank the chat. We had almost 400 people here. That's very impressive for a Friday morning show. I'm very thankful that you took the time to be here. Of course, I want to thank everybody for the very generous super chat, super stickers, and of course the new channel members. It is truly and greatly appreciated. I will add your names to the ticker tape, so you see your name scrolling at the bottom as soon as I'm done with the show. Let's get to the outros now. Wilmy might be on a call. I don't know if he's back yet. So we'll start with Dreadpool. Dreadpool, brother, tell everyone about where they could reach out to you on social media and what you got going on this weekend.
All right, this weekend I'm just going to be trying to play some games, play some catch up on the PS4 version of Ratchet and Clank.
Nice.
Hanging out with the family. Infinite, you all know Infinite. He suggested, because yesterday was my daughter's birthday, to do a Breaking Bread with birthday edition just for her. So we're going to actually go out and do something, just the two of us, and it won't be the wife this time. It won't be the family. It's just father, daughter, and we'll do something, little half-hour probably special on that.
That's cool, but, dude.
It is what it is, but it'll be fun. It'll be something different again. I'm trying to change it up a bit every so often. So as always, I want to thank everybody that's in the chat. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for also being friendly with each other. You can have your different opinions, but you guys have been pretty good today. You can find me on Twitter, Dreadpool. The O's are actually zeros. Also on TikTok, the same way. YouTube and gamer tag, it is Dreadpool, all letters, all caps. Even the PS4 or PlayStation, it's Dreadpool. Breaking Bread with Dread on anchor.fm/Dreadpool, all letters. It's all over the place. Just look it up. Spotify, Apple, Google, Audible. I've got like 12 different platforms and growing on where it's going to. Gaming Beyond the Box every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Obviously here every Friday mornings at 10 a.m. And then helping out with the interviews when I can at 4GQ TV. And also tonight I will be on Mav Show, Fun Speculation. So check us out tonight. And I'll be there hanging out with the Magnificent Seven.
Nice. Very, very nice. Definitely appreciate that you being here. Crispy Bomb, brother, when we get you in, get your outros done, tell everyone where they can reach out to you on social media, but more importantly, tell them what other shows that you're a part of and what are you doing this weekend?
Well, unfortunately, I have to work on Sunday, but but I'm going to be watching in its 4K glory. Don't forget, people, don't give those visual BS if you're watching the live stream. Go watch it in 4K after, and then you can say what you want. Okay?
Yes, I always do that. Yep.
So I'm just going to be watching it in all of its glory. So I'm fine with that. But it's at Crispy Bomb on Twitter, Crispy Bomb 28, Xbox Live. You can find me on Retro Renegades Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Next podcast, 8 p.m. Thursdays. And of course, back here on Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. Fridays, and whatever else places I pop up over the week. You never know.
Yeah, well, definitely appreciate you being here, brother. And of course, it was great to talk gaming with you as always, that we do each and every Friday. And our special guest, Wilmy Hood, brother, thanks so much for taking the time to not only be here, to give your honest and open opinion. Tell everyone about your incredible show that you have. That again, it's I think you're really gaining an audience because of how real you are, and everyone and your panel is just nothing short of fantastic. And also tell everyone where they can reach out to you and potentially yell at you on social media.
Well, you can find me everywhere, and I do mean everywhere. All social media platforms. Just look for Wilmy Hood. That includes Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all those other places.
And no longer Stadia.
Yeah, no longer on Stadia. You can find me on every gaming platform. And believe it or not, Gaming Beyond the Box, you can find me on that channel here on YouTube.
Yep.
And we just crossed 17,000 subscribers. And my God,
cow, dude, good
we
for
are
you.
We are on every freaking device you can think of. We're on Apple TV. I mean, you name it, you can type in Gaming Beyond the Box. We're in 7 different languages for some odd peculiar reason. Yeah, I had nothing to do with that, but it was fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, type your podcast into Google, dude. See what all pops up. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you know what? I might go for the big package next. I have it on 3 places now. I thought that was enough, but again, we're closing in on 10K. Love to hit 10K this year. Hopefully during E3. But damn, 17,000 subscribers. That's massive. But you know what? That's a testament to the work that you do.
Well, and the thing is, we are honest. There's no fanboying on our channel. I said it earlier. I own every type of platform there is humanly possible, except for Stadia. I threw that shit in the trash. And we don't fanboy. And most of my panel are drunks. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we're all a group of friends, and most of them are drunk, except for Dreadpool and Leo and myself. Most of the rest of them are drinking the entire podcast, but that's okay. They're fun while they're drunk. And I appreciate it being here. We were supposed to do this a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, I wound up getting a vicious migraine, dude, that really knocked me on my rear.
And yeah, and we actually got approved for media access to E3, so we will definitely have some stuff coming at the first of the week, because I'm not going to live stream E3 because I want to watch it myself and be greedy with it. So
yeah, nothing wrong with that, brother. Listen.
I don't want to live stream it because I want to watch it myself. Plus, my wife watches it with me.
That's cool, dude. Yeah, that's cool.
Because we both get excited. She's a gamer too, so we're going to sit back and we're going to watch it. We may do a podcast after it's all over. I'm not sure yet. Depends on what my panel thinks. But it's fun as always. Everybody have a great weekend, and you know where to find me.
Thanks, brother. Well, listen, folks, once again, it was great to have everybody here to talk about gaming. Obviously, everyone had great opinions. This was a fantastic show. I just want to close out today's show with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And I think now more than ever, it's even more important. He said, son, treat others how you want to be treated. Also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. Enjoy E3, and I'll see you on the live stream of the Xbox-Bethesda event pre-show at 11:30 a.m. Sunday morning. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.